of course, a wide section of social media, of course, people at large, travelers, have been sort of trying to navigate through the developments on LRS and the fact that now we have to pay 20% TCS on any and every transaction that's done via a credit card if that transaction is for a foreign spend or a foreign purchase. Now, it seems that this is going to be applicable. This 20% TCS limit is going to be applicable even if you want to do international bookings, travel and holiday bookings via an Indian tour operator. How does that sort of work out, and what are the dynamics at play here? Let's ask Mohit Kabra, who is the Group CFO, MakeMyTrip. Thanks, Mohit, for joining in. This story has been going on and on for the past 36 hours, I think. So help us understand this, because till yesterday it seemed that 20% TCS kicks in when you're traveling overseas, you're shopping or eating, or if you're making a dollar or a euro transaction sitting here in India. So how is it that even if I'm booking a holiday package or a ticket on MakeMyTrip for an overseas destination, you're saying that 20% TCS will apply even though my transaction is in Indian rupees? How does that work?
Yeah, let me just explain. And the current provision actually kind of there's a TCS at about 5%, and this is supposed to increase to 20% from 1st of July. So if you see in the manner that currently TCS is levied, while a customer might be booking in INR with the domestic travel agents, the domestic travel agents in turn need to remit, in foreign currency to the eventual service provider, whether it be the hotel or the cab service provider overseas. And when they do that, the banks which are remitting this money, out to the overseas supplier or service provider, they would ask for TCS compliance, and therefore, while it's not getting kind of levied at the first end of payment from the customer, at the second leg of the same transaction, where the Indian travel agent kind of remits monies, the TCS becomes applicable, and therefore the travel agents in turn need to take it from the customers when they are booking on their platforms or booking offline. So that is how it kind of pretty much gets levied.
Okay.
Even if
Mohit,
is done in INR.
Okay, got that. So, just for sake of clarity for our viewers, what our off-air conversations kind of indicated that right now, I think, even if you were, let's say, paying 2 lakh rupees to book a foreign trip or a foreign hotel or a foreign flight, there was still a 5% TCS, and it's the same 5 that becomes 20 now?
20.
And it will be upfront. So instead of 100 rupees, basically, you'll charge us 120 rupees. Is that how it works?
Correct. Right now it was 105. Now it will become 120. I think another provision which has been removed is currently there was an exemption of up to 7 lakhs. When you're making any travel bookings other than a travel package. So unless it's a tour package, any other bookings that we're doing, like say for instance, booking an overseas hotel, there was a 7 lakh exemption limit. And therefore, in most cases, the customer would not have paid that additional 5% TCS because he would have fallen under the exemption limit. But for a tour package, he would have always paid about 5%, even in the current regime. It's now because of because the exemption limit has been withdrawn. Now, practically for all travel expense for overseas travel, customers will need to fork out about 20% additionally in terms of cash flow. This is for the TCS kind of levy. However, one should keep in mind it's not an additional cost. It's more a cash flow issue because it needs to be paid upfront, and then you get the credit in your Form 26AS.
Mohit, the question is then of the refund of the 20% tax which has been collected by you. Does the onus of getting the money back lie with the customer? Does he have to produce some challan, go when he's filing his taxes and then try and reclaim it? Or do they reach out to you and MakeMyTrip will provide that refund?
Actually, pretty much seamless. And, like I said, because the travel agent or say MakeMyTrip in this case would kind of make the remittances of TCS into the treasury on the customer's behalf, and it will get reflected in the customer's Form 26AS, which is the tax credits form. And therefore, they can immediately utilize this for adjustment against their advance tax payments or even against their eventual tax liability at the end of the year. And therefore, either it will get adjusted against their tax liabilities or they could claim a refund if the amount is in excess of their actual tax payouts, which are due.
Okay, got that, Mohit. Oh, that's sobering news. Till yesterday, we thought that it is only applicable if you're booking through a foreign travel website and then you're transacting in dollars and euros.
Yeah, no. See, actually, it was, it was a specific demand from the travel industry. What was happening until now is because credit cards were kept out of the ambit, a lot of the foreign travel which was getting booked on global platforms was escaping the TCS levy, and therefore the Indian platforms or the Indian travel agents were kind of coming out more expensive. Now at least there will be parity, because across the board, irrespective of a customer, whether he books on overseas platforms or books directly with overseas supplier or books with an Indian travel agent, the TCS levy will be the same 20% of, if that rate kind of, goes through. The only other anomaly that still remains to be resolved is right now, if you look at it, when a customer books in INR on an Indian platform, the platform charges the TCS right upfront. So we'll collect probably like $120 equivalent on the platform. Whereas when a customer books it directly with an overseas hotel, he still pays only $100. And the $20 will be levied on his card by the card issuing bank at a later stage. And therefore that creates a potential likelihood for a shift in business, because he sees $120 on Indian platforms and $100 on a overseas direct booking or an overseas platform. So what we have been requesting is that the entire administrative procedure of ensuring TCS levy, the banks should be made the central point of, ensuring the administration, and the card issuing bank should collect the TCS levy irrespective of whether the booking is made on Indian platforms or overseas platforms or directly with the overseas supplier, so that there is level playing field and there is parity in pricing. And there are no apparent, price differences that are there, for the customer. Sure. That's the only other ask which kind of remains to be addressed.
Got that, Mohit. Yes, optics do matter. When you see 100 and 120, people are inclined to click on 100.
Absolutely.
But we take your point. Let's see, I think this matter will be discussed, and we'll need to see how financial institutions actually operationalize it. Thank you very much for joining in with some quick thoughts. We're completely out of time on this edition of Trading Hour. That's a wrap, but do stay tuned. All the action continues. Halftime report coming up next.